Hey, gentlemen, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I'm Tony.
Tony. Yeah, Zoe. Yeah, Michael.
Michael.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meeting you too. Welcome to the Forbidden City.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you for doing this and
Yeah, you made it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah，我中文也没问题，所以我跟你说中文也没问题。不过他就用英文嘛。
So, 没问题. So my Chinese name is Yao.
No?
My English name is Michael. Call me either Michael or Yao. I will answer to both.
Okay.
It's my pleasure to be your tour guide. Okay. So now what we got to do is let's move to that side, where I'm gonna walk you through a quick tour on this map.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
So by the way, this is my colleague. She's going to take some pictures and videos of the tour. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go that way. Where are you guys from?
Canada.
From Canada. Okay. Which part?
Toronto.
Toronto. Okay.
Originally from Vancouver.
Okay.
Now I live in Toronto.
Have you ever been to Canada?
Not yet. I was planning to go there in 2020, but the COVID hit. Yeah, so I had to cancel that tour. Anyway, I've got this 10-year visa. Maybe this year or next year, I'm going to visit Canada.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've been dreaming to visit Canada, to visit Banff Park
Yeah.
one day.
Yeah. Mountains.
To do this road trip tour.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
Okay, so let's take a look at this map. The Forbidden City is huge.
Yeah.
Actually, the size of the Forbidden City is 72 hectares. And actually, if you want to visit all those buildings, the palaces, which are open to the public in the Forbidden City, it's going to take like 2 or 3 full days. But today we're going to visit the most important ones. Most of the other regular tourists, the average tourist, will only visit the Forbidden City along the central axis. That would take around a little bit over than 1 hour. But our tour is like an in-depth tour. We're going to visit the furniture hall and the palaces on the west and eastern part of the Forbidden City. Okay?
Yeah.
The thing is, most important buildings were built along the central axis, but they do not open to the public. That means we're not able to walk into the palace to give them a very good look of those beautiful furniture. That's why our tour will start from this furniture hall over here, where we're going to see 300 beautiful furniture displayed inside. They are very similar to the furniture displayed along the central axis. Okay?
Yeah.
And the Forbidden City is divided into 2 parts, the outer court and the inner court. The outer court refers to those 3 major palaces where the emperor celebrated their birthdays, the winter solstice, the Chinese New Year, but they didn't come to this area very often, say 3 or 4 times a year. They spent most of their times in this area, in the inner court, where they lived and hang out with their ladies and children back in the day in that area. So there's a saying in China, 无事不登三宝殿，没事他们不来这边的。So the outer court and the inner court. Our tour will start from furniture hall, central axis, east and west, and then we'll be exiting the Forbidden City from here, from this area. You saw this gate while you're on the way here. Okay. And the whole complex started in 1406. I mean the construction, and completed in 1420. And the whole complex opened to the public in 1925 as a palace museum. Those are the emperors in the Ming and Qing dynasties. Tony, are you aware of those ancient dynasties in China?
Not that familiar. No.
Okay. I'm referring to the feudal dynasties, and the one started the feudal dynasty is called Qin. Qin, which established the first feudal dynasty. That dynasty also unified Great China about 2,200 years ago, and then followed by the Han, Jin, Sui, Tang, Song, Yuan, Ming, and Qing dynasties, the last 2 dynasties in China history. So those ancient dynasties are about 2,000 years apart. Pretty much all those emperors lived in the Forbidden City except the first 2. They lived in Nanjing, the former capital city of the Ming dynasty. This gentleman who established the Ming dynasty, who defeated those Mongolian people. They occupied China for nearly 100 years. He drove them all the way back to the Mongolian steppe and established the Ming dynasty. And himself and the grandson of the first emperor lived in Nanjing, the former capital of the Ming dynasty. The 3rd emperor, this gentleman, who moved the capital from Nanjing to Beijing, from south to north, and started from him all his descendant emperors lived in the Forbidden City for more than 200 years. Until the 16th emperor, Emperor Chongzhen, this gentleman had bad luck, who encountered some serious issues, like the natural disaster. The global temperature dropped significantly during that period, caused the poor harvest of agriculture, and which led to the uprising of the peasant. And those people were fighting against his dynasty and finally made their way into Beijing. And nobody helped him out. He got so desperate and went up to the hill where he committed suicide by hanging himself.
Oh, wow.
That hill was located right behind the Forbidden City. He killed himself at the age of 34 in 1644, when marked as the end of the Ming Dynasty. And then those Manchurian people, they were coming from northeastern part of the country. They came to Beijing and took advantage of the civil war broke out in the country. They defeated those people who occupied the Forbidden City for 42 days. They kicked them out of here and then conquered the whole country and started a new dynasty, which is called the Qing Dynasty, which lasted for 267 years, for 10 generations, until the last emperor Puyi. This is the last emperor in China's history, and he was proclaimed to be the emperor at the age of only 3 years old. But he was the first to abdicate. His dynasty collapsed at the age of, what is this sign?
6.
6. Okay, he was first to abdicate at the age of 6, and but he still lived inside the Forbidden City until 1924. Then he was kicked out of the Forbidden City, and then the whole complex was converted into a palace museum, one of the largest museums in the world.
Why was he kicked out?
Because the dynasty was over, they signed the treaty with that so-called democratic government, declared that he would never ever declare himself to be the emperor again. But he defined that agreement and declared himself to be the emperor again in 1917, and then he was kicked out of here. Okay, so far so good. Any questions?
How many people lived in
In the court?
this? Yeah,
I would say 1,000.
1,000.
Yeah, only the emperor and the family, those widowed concubines from the previous emperor, and some eunuchs and palace maid. I would say 1,000. It depends. Yeah, around 1,000. There are a lot of people, they work in the Forbidden City during the daytime, but they had to move out of the Forbidden City at night. Yeah, so around 1,000 people lived inside. Okay? Any more questions? So far, so good? Yeah, that's a good question. Now we're heading to that furniture hall, which is located right behind this building. And later on, we'll be coming out of that gate, where has the best angle taking pictures in this area. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
It ended in 1924.
Yes.
That's pretty recent.
Yeah, pretty recent, 100 years ago. Actually, the emperor moved out of the Forbidden City in 1924, and the dynasty ended in 1911. So the dynasty was over. No more dynasties existed after that.